You want me to?
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. It's fine with you? All right, it is 1:03 PM. We will call the meeting to order for the Kosciusko County Local Board hearing for April the 2nd, 2026. Local board members present are April Tackett,
Dan Woods, Mike Hall.
and Mr. Aldifer is absent today. We have a few renewals with no violations. We have RR 4398005 HMR Acquisition Company Incorporated, doing business as Hacienda Mexican Restaurant. DL 33209 Leesburg Petro Corp., doing business as Leesburg Stop and Go. RR 4342217 Las Nueva Trojes in Warsaw. RR 4342411 Mi Tierra Mexican Grill and Cantina. All are renewals with no violations.
I make a motion that we accept the renewals.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the approvals signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. No one's here to oppose. And just let the record state, no one is here to remonstrate for those renewals. Any questions, sir? Okay. All right, the next permit we have on the list are RR 4343406 Beer Retailer. Robert T. Carter in Mentone is a new permit, and you're here with that. And this is carried over from last month. If you could please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. State and spell your name for the record.
Robert T. Carter, ROBERTTCARTER.
And what are you with this company?
I am the owner.
What is the principal nature of this business?
Food, restaurant, beer.
And just let the record state, no final inspection has been done just because it's not ready. And, he turned in his affidavit for the orange posting last month. I still have a hold of that. I don't know if you brought a new one or not, because you didn't take it down, did you?
No.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right, go ahead and explain to the board about this permit.
all right. So last time I was here, there was some questions on the zoning.
Okay,
So I did pull the record and you guys can see
Okay.
it's zoned, commercial. And I also went to the town. The second page on that is a permit for remodeling for the premises there. So they, they know the area. They were fine with me, changing it over from being, a repair shop or whatever to the bar. I put it on there for restaurant bar, is what it's going to be used for.
mhm.
There was a question on whether we could get sewer and stuff. I did have the town give me a quote. So, they can put sewer there fairly easily. And then the last page
Because
again,
there's
just,
two other businesses there too, right? That
yeah,
one, I don't know, it's like a feed meal price, that probably doesn't, but
it runs right down the alley between, the old body shop and my building. So there's an alleyway there.
okay.
So that's where the main sewer runs through. And then just kind of you didn't ask for it, but an update on the building. We started doing the cleanup on getting stuff so we can actually start working in there. I mean, that's where I'm at. Hopefully I've answered all your questions and we can continue on.
Mm-hmm. All right, questions from the board first.
Question to you, I guess.
Okay,
This is for a beer retailer.
correct.
Now, does this mean there's still a license in town for wine and liquor? I mean, was there not, is this not the original application, was it just for beer retailer or is it for the liquor and everything?
So the way the quota system works, wine-only licenses are not on quota, so they can have as many of those as they want. So we'll throw out the wine part. This is a beer-only license. And just like other places, if you have a beer-only license, if you want to convert that into the beer, wine, and liquor, that's how you get the beer, wine, and liquor without the availability of carryout. So I'm going to assume, you don't have to answer this. I'm going to assume the reason why it's a beer-only application is because if he knows for 2 years he's not going to use it, he's going to pay $500 a year for a beer license as opposed to $1,000 a year for that beer, wine, and liquor without carryout. You know what I mean by that?
I
Like if
understand, but
the business isn't going to be open, let's say for a year and a half. Better to spend $500 than $1,000 when there's no income coming in. Once this, I'm just saying 2 years as an example.
yeah,
Once this 2 years is up and he is ready to open up the doors, he can still, at that time, convert this into the three-way as long as the town doesn't go back on the enabling ordinance. So once a town makes an enabling ordinance by statute, they have to keep it for at least 2 years. So after that 2 years is up, if they say, nah, we're gonna rescind that, then this stays forever a beer only license because they're not gonna have that
but,
enabling.
okay, but by taking this, that does remove the possibility of somebody getting it out of their license.
Yes,
It's this just, okay.
yes. Sorry, I guess I
Yeah.
won't.
No, that explains
No,
it.
I understand.
I just wanted to figure out if that meant Mentone was picking up another license
No,
by going this way. They're not, and
Nope.
that's fine.
okay.
I just was trying to figure out if it eliminated somebody or not.
Seeing that there's no remonstrators here, especially after continuing it and some exposure from the new, and, you know, and still, and still nobody shows up to remonstrate, you know, I mean, my biggest concern is the history of
It will
keeping a
happen.
permit in escrow.
I understand that.
And all we can do now, if this would be approved, is to, leave it up to the commission to, when they have those escrow hearings, to track, take care of it.
Well, I make a motion that we approve the application.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the new permit RR 4343406, Robert T. Carter, beer retailer in Mentone. All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right,
Aye. Anyone opposed? Any questions?
No. You make me work way too hard.
Can I keep my copy of
No,
this so I
definitely.
can
Yeah,
turn it in case they want notes or whatever?
that's fine. All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
thank you very much.
And that is all we have left on the agenda.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Adjourn, 1:12.
Oh,
I do. Okay, so I don't know if you remember my setup at barbecue.
Do you want me to do this first?
No, go ahead, sorry.
Mhm.